Alright, hi everyone. For today I'm taking you to a journey to Islay, which is represented here and which is west of the map on the other side of my head. Whoops, I can even show it. Okay, but I guess you know where it is now. Yeah, over my head. Anyways, we're going to ARDNAHOE here, which is exactly there on the northeast of the Isle of Islay. So Scotland, obviously, to discover two whiskies from the ARDNAHOE Distillery. ARDNAHOE, which means, I didn't know it, height of the hollow. Hollow in French, for the French audience, means vallon. Donc le point culminant entre les deux vallons, voilà. So the highest point around between two high points. So this distillery was founded in northeast of Islay by the Hunter Lang and Company independent bottling. So very quickly, while I explain everything on my website on the Douglas Lang entry, mind you, there's no ARDNAHOE entry yet, because whiskies of ARDNAHOE recently arrived in my collection, to be honest. Oh, so I hope I won't have any, sorry, technical issue. Come on. So complicated there when you want to do something, and yeah. Okay, so back again. So Hunter Lang is the Stewart Lang company, indie company. It did separate from the Douglas Lang main founded company. I think it was in 1948. So there were two brothers. There was a father, but there was two brothers that held this company until 2013. Fred Lang, which is now the name Douglas Lang. He kept the name Douglas Lang, and for the other company, Hunter Lang. So they both separated, went in separated ways, with some of the ranges, the old ranges, being severed into the two companies, others new ranges built. I won't go to it, it will be too long here, but when I will have to cover a Hunter Lang indie bottling review, I will go back to this explanation further, right? So just ARDNAHOE, why is there an OCTOMORE bottle on my table? It's for the sake of comparison with the ARDNAHOE, because it was the closest thing I could find, which was both from Islay, both 5 years old, both with a relatively high ABV, and I had to dilute it down for the comparison, but I'll go back to it. So yeah, so distillery presentation. First of all, and no, this is not an official tube, this is a made-up tube by me. The location, let me tell you, is absolutely spectacular. So yeah, forgot to show you Islay, the pit of my heart. It's a t-shirt I got some time ago. So look at this, this is absolutely gorgeous. It's an official picture I did borrow for the tube of this special limited release that I gotta try also. But we're gonna start with the Infinite Loch. But before we go to Infinite Loch, for those interested, otherwise there are time chapters in the description. You can skip directly to the tasting of the whiskies. But for those interested in a bit of background, 2017, so it's the foundation date, sorry, of ARDNAHOE Distillery at Port Askeig, for the exact location. What else can I tell you? I can tell you, so it's in 2018 that it became, the production started, and it was the 9th distillery in Islay. Now we're in 10 or 11, because there's a port in Tren by another indie bottler, Elixir distillers. Now what I forgot to say is in 2013 Douglas Lang also first, before Hunter Lang, decided to buy a distillery, a very tiny craft distillery in the Southern Highlands. Everybody was surprised why, but they bought Strathern Distillery. And more and more you're gonna see this, I forgot to say, indie bottlings who want to make sure they have some distillate as the basis of their blends, or the basis of what they do, blended malts, blended scotch, whatever. So they will need strategically to have their own distillery, one if they can, and two if they can, like Gordon MacPhail, who has both Ben Romach and the Cairn now. So this is this trend that Stewart Lang is following there. So 2024 was the first release. There were the inaugural release 5 years old, which unfortunately I haven't tried, and that's the price has it's a bit now higher. It's over the Cask Strength here even. And the Infinite Loch, so we're going to speak about the Infinite Loch that I have here. A bit later on they released the Bolsa, which is made of Oloroso sherry casks, and the Society bottling, which is there. Since I tried this at Whisky Life Paris, I fell in love with it. And this is not a spoiler, but if you follow the channel, this was one of the 2 bottles of the year for 2024-5. Even if it's a 24 release, yeah, I made an exception for this and 1 or 2 other whiskies. I haven't tried a Society bottling 2025, but it seems to be the same recipe. Those bottlings are limited and reserved to the website, so you can order them, but you have to have an address in UK. So I will explain how I did got this one, and thank the amazing guy who brought it to Paris directly to me. Yeah, so just quickly some specs about the distillery. They have a big mash tun of 2.75 tons, which is a semi-loader, not completely scrapping all around. It's just 180 instead of 360 degrees, if I understood well, with a copper lid, which is different. And what I'm looking for is to have a clear wort, as I understand it. They have 2 stills, one big huge one of 12,500 liters, sorry, and one spirit still of a 8,000 liters. The wash bucks, they have 4 of 25,000 liters, made of Oregon pine, and the average fermentation time is 72 hours. What else I have to say about the still? Slow distillation, and they have the longest line arm in Scotland, 7 meters 5.5, sorry, 7.5 meters, sorry. It's hard to resume videos for me after all I've been through, but I don't want to talk about that here. 90% of the malt is peated at an average of 40 ppm, so 10% unpeated. What else can I say? When I did made up this tube, I think it was to give you some yeah, the aim is to, and Malt Whisky Yearbook I have here says it produces 1,000 liters of pure alcohol per year, per annum, but the announced goal for 2025 was the half, so 500,000 liters. Yes, I'm gonna speak about this. I think we're good. If I forgot something, I'll see if I can go back to it. So we're gonna start with, where is it? So yeah, I have to say I really love their packaging. It's absolutely gorgeous, as you can see. Don't know if you agree, let me know in the comments. So you see it's located in front of the Paps of Jura, of Isle of Jura. So that's why, and you saw it on the picture, but I'm going to show you the picture again. That's why the kiln, the top of the distillery, the roof is facing those two. So great design. It's transparent on the back label. And yeah, so and my bottle is, as I understand it, a 2025 release. 20, yeah. So there you have it. You have, what do they say? Blah blah blah. Yeah, there's a Loch ARDNAHOE. That's why also they. Yeah, non-chill filtered, non-colored. And yeah, Scott Lang is the co-founder. I met Scott in Whiskey Life Barry, really cool guy. This bottling is bottled at 50% ABV, not 46. Like I said, it's a mix of bourbon barrels and sherry, Oloroso sherry casks, right? Take a bit of a... So, where are my sheets where I need them? There you have it. So maybe I will refer to it if I am not precise enough now. It happens, honestly, when you're, I don't know you, for the other reviewers, when you're in front of your bottle and you're assessing from the second, third time, I see 3 times here, that's why I can review it in the video. But sometimes also, yeah, I do uncorkings on cam, but you spend more time than in video for sure. So, but as I have only 3 whiskies to cover, maybe I will take a bit more time. Viscosity, it's 5 out of 5 because non-chill filtered, non-colored. There's no age statement in it, but I guess, correct me if I'm wrong, it's just a guess. I don't have precise information, so take it with a pinch of salt. 4 to 5 years old, something like that. I guess with time probably they will try to put older casks in it until they get a 10 years old or 8 years old official, as other distilleries do. For instance, when you try Kilchoman Machir Bay now, it is not the same as when I have my I haven't reviewed it yet because I'm annoyed. It's 4 or 5 years old, 3, 4 years old, I don't remember, and I had to add other things in it because it lacked of power and depth, so I had to add a few single casks in it anyway. So I cannot review it really now. Anyways, so great viscosity. Color is a pale yellow, bit of muscadet wine, stuff like that. Sticky legs. Let's have a first nose. So instantly the impression of having something balanced, bit young but not shockingly young. Some ashy smoke with a hints of nice maritime, slight medicinal, not more seashore elements. There's something instantly of Islay and slight thing maybe reminiscent of some either dry official Lecheg or maybe more, I would say, Ardmore for now. Now there's some nice now citrus fruit coming on, some grapefruit and different lemon, citrus fruit, citrus, lemon, even a hint of quince. I haven't noted it. Maybe we'll see on the palate. I didn't notice that. Maybe a hint of pineapple, which I didn't notice before. So slightly, very slightly exotic. It's a beautiful nose. Yeah, there's something rounded that indeed evokes to me a note of pineapple. slightly acidulous, so it's those are the so those kind of, you know, English licorice, all sorts, immediately makes me think there's some the esters probably coming from some first fill. It's not disclosed either the proportion of first fill or second fill or third fill are equal, or one is dominating, but I think there's a significant part of it's just a guess, not an information. I would guess, yeah, significant part of first fill, but not only bourbon cask. But yeah, there's a slight red fruity acidulous feel, a bit like, you know, what's the name of it? Acerola. I don't know if it's an let me, or maybe cranberries. Let me check, because I didn't think of it prior to the recording. I'm sorry. Acerola en anglais, in English. What do they say? It's the same, Acerola. So it's a kind of tiny bay, tiny red bay. Focus. That you can fruit that you can find in the forests. Yeah, there's a hint of this coming on from the Oloroso cask, of course. So very nice. The more I get into the nose, despite it's not spectacular, it's not, I mean, you're not gonna faint because it's too beautiful. So there's something classic, there's something discreet, there's something complex, there's something, it's balanced. It's not super beautiful, but it's very nice. Okay, let's start with, let me check just something first. If my comparison is, could be relevant. Okay. Did I show you the box? No. The tasting notes, I don't used to read them. What they say: born out of natural affinity for Islay, combined with a reverence for its whiskies, blah 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 blah, lots of blah blah. Traditional method, rigorously traditional methods. The loch has exceptionally soft water, so filtered through peat and rock for 1,000 years, blah blah blah. So they don't say more than matured in combination of Bourbon and ex-Oloroso sherry cask, right? We're not gonna learn more. Anyways, first try, Slanjava. First try today for you. Okay, there's something that is gets peppery at the end for the finish. I didn't expect that way. Well, it's not, I mean, it passed the shoulder, but it's not like it's there. I would be curious how it tastes at this level. But yeah, I have a lot of whiskies, so I don't go back to the same all the time. Okay, so you got this ashy, dry smoke, partly dry, let's say, not completely dominating, or let's say that wraps everything, but it still leaves past the attack, so mid-palate, and a bit more, not, the finish is more about spices and smoke, but in midway you have something like dark chocolate coming on. You have discrete trace of star anise, very discreet, too discreet in my opinion. You got sweet spices, ginger, black pepper. You have, yeah, you have these grapefruit and lemon. Also a bit of lemon sherbet, so slight sugary, but not excess, with excess. What else? The ABV, I noted perfect ABV. It's young, but that is not shockingly young. What shows you it's young, it's the fact that it doesn't have a lot of depth and complexity, but honestly tasted blind, I would not be going to say, oh, it's only 4 years old or 5. I will probably guess a 6 to 8 years old or 10, not more, but something like that. So it's a big compliment. This single malt whiskey comes across older than it is, probably. So this is a positive point. And when I say probably, I mean it was a 2025 release for distillery starting in 2028, so it cannot be more than 7 years old. That's what I mean, right? Second try, and I'm gonna dilute it a bit. Yeah, so it's so subtle. The subtlety comes with the fact that it's very meticulously blended. The bourbon and sherry component complement each other for something that otherwise would probably, like some early Torreveg, would have been too monodimensional for me, one-dimensional for me. And this is partly the issue here, if I have to find an issue, that, yeah, I would like to have more, something more that I don't get, but despite this is beautiful. This has a serenity which could be comparable, I didn't think of it, I'm sorry, with the Isle of Harris Gerach, the batch 5 I have, and the batch 12 I tried recently. But there's something more sexy in the Gerach, which drives it close to a very young Port Ellen. But ARDNAHOE makes me also think a bit Port Ellen, a bit more about Caol Ila. Unfortunately, I didn't have something to compare really with it, so I chose another comparison. Gonna slightly dilute it, not much, because I want to keep some for the comparison with the OCTOMORE. So just 2 drops. The OCTOMORE, I did put quite some water in it because it's a 59. I didn't note it down. Greg, you're not doing properly your job. 59.5. Woo. Yeah, so this is weird because it's still it's a drier peat, yeah, dry with ash and black pepper, with something almost acidulous, so maybe also a touch of Sichuan pepper, I would say. The sea spray is very discreet. It's more apparent in Talisker, which I could have put on the table, but I don't want to do a 1-hour video this time. I could have chosen a bunch of other peated whiskies to compare, but it would be another theme. It's with the declination of peats, which probably something I will do at some point. Right, so what's the score looks like? The rating for me is probably too generous, I reckon. I'm not gonna try to change it now. I gave it a 90 out of 100, but my scale goes up to 100 out of 100, mind you. Not all the reviewers do that. If I had to temper that, I will probably... Yes, okay, I will do it. Right now before you. We're on the 4 of April. What I'm gonna put a bit down is the complexity, the 1/4 point less. Also the subjective note, which drives to this often probably too high note. Yeah, well, let's say I will diminish it to 89.5, with probably more about 89, I would say, experience overall. Yeah, we could go. I'm hesitating between 89 and 89.5, not more than that, I think. So yeah, also I noted, sorry, with water, dried herbs, discreet star anise, some wild flowers and botanicals, a hint of heather and or lilac, couldn't decide. And I did note some nice grey pepper for the finish, with a nice decrescendo of the intensity of the spice. So I don't know what you make of that, but here's my thoughts for now about the Infinite Loch. Whoops, don't go too far. We're gonna continue with, and I had to change the cork because it's degrading too quickly. You probably cannot see it, but yeah, I don't want to risk, because it's a bottle I don't drink often. An old OCTOMORE 5 a dash, I don't know the word in English, 1 or 0.169, no, it's 5.1 169. I didn't extract from my archives. Edition 05.1, age 5 years, ppm 169. So BRUICHLADDICH Distillery, and it is heavy first off. What can I say to you about this bottling else? What can I say? So OCTOMORE is the heavily peated expression from BRUICHLADDICH Distillery, 59, I said 0.5. Bourbon casks, that's what I forgot. 80,000 bottles. I realized last year also that I didn't review, except a few port shallots, I didn't review a full set of my BRUICHLADDICH collection, and a bit of, it's only OCTOMORE I have. I tried quite some, but it's the only bottle I have. And it took me some time to open it, and it took me some time to enjoy it as well. It was very harsh at the opening. Anyways, why I thought of this, because of natural presentation for both, because of the kind of similar ABV, so I diluted down to be close to it, not exactly, because I don't have a measurement here for that device. I could, but I got to do some calculation, and I don't have enough precise spirit in English measurer here. It's not precise enough. So the same kind of ashy peat, maybe more dry, a kind of Ardbeggy. Yeah, ARDNAHOE for me stands somewhere between Ardbeg and Caol Ila, but the wee beastie is a bit too much marked with the impacted by the sherry cask, so I didn't want to put it on the table because it's too different for me from the Infinite Loch, despite being somewhere around 5 years old. This has not a too dissimilar nose. Yeah, but the peat is more grassy, way more grassy, more citrus fruit. Okay, what do I cannot... There's something else I cannot find there on the ARDNAHOE. The dark chocolate completely married with the peat, very intricately. There's something else I cannot really... yeah, the differ from the nose already. There's something more, not farmy there, but there's something more bold, more... well, let's go to the palate, we'll see. Ooh, oh, nice. Still has some heat. Well, let's say maybe fixed 60%, 65% the same, but there's something really different, which I cannot, again, I'm sorry, describe about the Infinite Loch. Again, the peat is probably from a different place. I'm not sure it's Islay peat for the ARDNAHOE. Sorry, I haven't double checked that. I would guess from the Highlands, and probably the same for the OCTOMORE, but I cannot be sure. I'm gonna dilute it a bit more and then move on to the other bottling. Okay. Sorry for this noise. Yeah, it's closer, but there's something richer. The barley sugar, there you go. The barley sugars are very discreet in the Infinite Loch. I barely can sense something of malted barley there. Well, there is very apparent. It's a beautiful whiskey. Anyway. I have to admit this OCTOMORE is closer to some of the Port Charlottes I have than to this. That said, OCTOMORE is a very special brand. It has very special production methods. I'm not gonna tell you which one here and now. Oh, sorry, that's just something in the computer, the CD compartment, which is getting crazy. Anyway, there's something very special about the OCTOMORE expression of BRUICHLADDICH, which I'm the only one, as far as I know, who talks about it. Some kind of censorship, or I don't know, people didn't have the information. There's something they're not telling you, and I'm telling you, and I'm not gonna tell you there because you have to watch my videos, sorry, and do your investigation. But there's something they not tell you there in the process of production. It's very important. And if you go to see my demystifying marketing tricks, I'm not sure it was the 1 or the 2, but it's on the title. Some people were probably not happy about it, but some insiders, BRUICHLADDICH, told me about this detail. So anyway, what I can disclose already is that 169 ppm is not the ppm level at the end of the process. It's the ppm level measured at after malting the barley, so before distillation. And distillations, there are here, not the ones you think. That's all I would say. Anyway, enough with OCTOMORE. It's so heavy bottle. And let's go to this beauty. I love the color with the gold, the white. It's even more appealing for me. You know, same engraving. UK only, yes, because I really I tried this bottle, Whiskey Life Paris, last year. I loved it so much that I went online and I saw UK delivery only, limited release, blah blah blah. So I asked my pal, Toby, can you please see if you can buy it, and then I will pay it, transfer money to you, and you can ship it there. And maybe if you come here someday, and said, oh, you know what, I love Paris, I'm gonna come visit you soon. And in the space of a few months, the bottle was here, so I had to offer him something in exchange. Yeah, a lot of reflections, I'm sorry, so it's difficult to have all the name. And yeah, so he brought this to me, and it appeared to be a fantastic whiskey for me, and the co-winner of my whiskey of the year, you can see in the video. I'm not sure I tried it in the video, but... And then I made up this tube. which because I need protection for this. I'm not going to explain you why. So here's a bit of presentation, tasting notes. It says it's matured in Oloroso NPX sherry cask and PX quarter casks. So kind of, and it has an age statement of 5 years old. So kind of a bit accelerated by the maturation by the quarter cask. Again, no artificial coloring, no chill filtration. And yeah, like I said, and you see in this picture, you have the Paps of Jura right in front of the kiln of the pagoda roofed kiln room. When you there you can see there. What else do I have in picture? Nothing. So yeah, the color, of course, as you can imagine, it's not super dark, but it's 5 years old only, right? But it is a nice amber / light mahogany color. Viscosity is at the max because it's also a 59.1 ABV. So does it say cask strength somewhere? Yes, natural cask strength. Bottled at natural cask strength. Because some cask strength, I'm not going to go too much on it, are not natural. They're a bit reduced. Okay. Wow, nose is absolutely gorgeous. I gotta be completely honest, despite I rank this very high, I don't 100% consider it significant of an Islay if I had to try it blind. So as you know, a lot of sherry tends to diminish, and here it's 100% sherry, tends to diminish, with a few exceptions, okay, the amount of peat you can perceive in the nose and the palate, despite it's the same combination, right, of 90% peated malt and 10% unpeated malt. But the richness of the fruit, the oxidation factor, etc., all these most often gives you the impression, there are exceptions, right, to the rule, that it is less peated, but it's not less peated. So the nose is spectacular. Why did I wrote? It's very melted here. Complex floral on a base of ripe fruit of all kinds, and orchard fruit, Earl Grey tea, apricot, peach. There's something, very side dish here specifically. And I could have compared it. I didn't thought of it. I mean, the last 2 weeks have been crazy, so it's a miracle already. You have this video. Let me tell you, I had to go 4 or 5 times for different things, for the 4G key, because my connection problem is still not solved. The mistake on the device was, anyway. It's lots of very tiring things to fix. So what else? Yeah, it kind of reminded me of the Glenlivet Najura Oloroso. That's what I was wanting to say. We'll see more on the second nose and the palate. Yeah, there's something more dry than the Infinite Loch, if it's possible. Dried fruit, dried ripe fruit. It was absolutely spectacular at the uncorking and neck pour. It's tamed now. It's getting more wise, less spectacular. But yeah, very rich. There even some waxy sensation. There are some times where you could mistake, believe me or not, this nose with a 35, with 20 to 30 years old Kleinlich, sherried Kleinlich. Yes, I say that. But then probably you would see on the palate that it cannot handle such age in depth and complexity. But yeah, it will be very interesting to try this blind and see what people say. Okay, on the palate, Slangeva. so beautiful. Oof. With a beautiful spicy finish. Oh yeah, I have to. Oof. Still that peppery tingling, bit prickly on the tongue. Forgot to mention. Of course, 59.1 is more than 50. So sensation is there's a bit more bite on the tongue, on top of the tongue, but it's very dense, it's very intricate between the smoke and the sherry. So I withdraw what I say with the smoke because it still comes across as smoky, but it's a bit different than the Infinite Loch. So it's beautiful. It has some depth, it has some complexity, yet I kind of feel this is younger in this one than with the Infinite Loch for some reason. I haven't tried the ARDNAHOE Cask Strength. I will be very surprised, very excited to try it. I regret, as I understand it, correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, that it's a bourbon cask only. I would have loved to have the Infinite Loch with a 7, 6, 7, 8 statement with the same recipe, bourbon and sherry. I'm gonna dilute this stuff down. And yeah, of course, I'm gonna blend the 3 after the recording as an experiment. More red fruit. There's something very down-tuned though on the red fruit. It's not spectacular, not acidulous, not bright fruit. There's something that ripe fruit only. I don't know if you have, if I have, some dried sultana. I would say some mixed berries. Where is it? Yeah, some blackberry, bramble if you prefer. Lots of blackberry, ripe, overripe almost. Very overripe strawberry as well. Red currant, not really. Plum, not really. But yeah, basically it's what you have. It's a bit sooty, not too much. I will see. Still this thing that drives me crazy and works by itself to open and close the CD compartment. I cannot do nothing about that. Apology. It's the ghost of Islay, maybe. Oh wow, this is beautiful with a bit of water. Makes the fruit, the red fruit, being a bit more vivid. The pepper is subdued, the peat also. But to be honest, if you dilute it too much, you won't be enjoying the same experience. So yeah, I think I might, or maybe it's the problem of rating, it's the way you rate some days. And today this is different. So I think there is some, the highest rating which did conduct me to say Whiskey of the Year, have to say is not what I feel here and now, so the rating is gonna go below, probably a lot below, 92. See if I can pause it. I'm afraid to pause it, so yeah, I mean, this is spectacular. This is beautiful, but it has to be, I don't know if it's how it's going to evolve, but it has to be downgraded from, or I mean lowered from 92 to 90. Yeah, terrible. I don't know if it's the conditions of storage and temperature here or my palate today. But yeah, it is beautiful. It is a great whiskey. The price was, I forgot to talk about the price, apologies my friends. Lots of elegance, yeah, I forgot to mention. That's why it was ranked so high. Comes across as more classic now, less spectacular. Price of the ARDNAHOE Infinite Storm was 78 euros. And why I refused to buy both the Strathern from Douglas Lang first release official, because there were others before, and I mean single cask and stuff, and inaugural release of ARDNAHOE 5 years old was 100 euros here in France. And I thought it was too much. Already with the 85 euros asked for the Hierach of Harris, I thought it was a lot for a young whiskey, as craft as it is. I mean, you have other distilleries doing first releases with 50, 60 euros, Lowlands, etc. distilleries, so why such a high price? So I refuse to buy. I regret, because apparently it's more interesting than the Infinite Loch, as I understand it. Tell me in the comments what you think. I mean the inaugural release. This was £85. So something Cask Strength limited, it's okay, I understand. In France it will go up to 100, okay. But for something 50% and less than 5 years old, apparently, the Infinite Loch, I thought it was a bit too much. But 78, given the feedback I had from a lot of people, and I tried it at the show, I said, okay, I'm gonna go for it. So what's my conclusion there? And sorry, I'm gonna still be over 40 minutes. But it's a conversation kind of between us, you in the comment, me there. Both are beautiful whiskies. Would I recommend them to people who have a slight tight wallet, tighter than me and then a lot of people covering this? Not necessarily. You can have beautiful indie bottlings of Kolila, of Ardbeg, it's more difficult and more expensive, okay, of Kolila, of Lagavulin, it's different profile, okay, Lefrog, okay. But if you go to the, then depends the price in France and abroad. In the rest of Europe it tends to be more interesting value-wise than here in France. But if you're looking for something precise, a bit chiseled, subtle, and you have an okay, comfortable wallet, well, go for the Infinite Loch. Now, if you are in UK or know someone who's in UK who can help you ship it to you, and you like not heavily sherried but distinctly sherried, but with a subtle, a bit down-tuned profile, because it's not a sherry monster in my opinion. Forgot to mention that it's very sherried, but it's not something that's I mean, the fruits are all over the place and you're gonna be it's not a family cask Glenfarclas with a high first fill sherry rate, that's what I mean. But it's still beautiful whiskey. So that's what I can say about them for now. I will see how they evolve, maybe come back to you. So I hope you find it interesting. Let me know in the comments your experience with ARDNAHOE and how you rank it compared to other distilleries. But yeah, is it Islay new gem? I think, like I said in the title, probably, but we need to make sure of that. We need more releases with more variations on the recipe and not exotic crazy finishes, please. But you know, the usual combinations between different kinds of bourbon, cask, maybe from different distilleries, topic which is never mentioned, how much the different American bourbon distillery cask impart the taste of the final product, and how you can combine I mean, Woodford Reserve, Buffalo Trace, Willet, Weller, I don't know, there's so many different possibilities in the US now. And also, if you use not ex-Bourbon maybe, but ex-American single malt casks, just an idea. Voilà. Thanks, see you soon.